Okay guys, today we're doing something a little bit different to what we've been doing so far. We're drawing and we're painting today, and we'll be outlining with Mark. Okay, so I'm just going to show you today, okay? So this is what we're going to be finishing up with, but I'll just show you, okay? So I practiced first here, I just got the shape, okay? You don't have to do this, but just so that you know, if you don't get it right the first time, I trialed and errored it lots of times, and you'll notice in the video I rubbed out a lot of things too, so it's okay if you don't get it the first time. This is what it'll end up like, and always remember when you're painting, if you make a mistake, you can cover over it with paint. It's no big deal, okay? So let's get going with this. Now, so I'm just going to be drawing, okay, my lion. I'm going to start with the mane by doing a big love heart shape like I've done here. Now I'm going to move on to his feet, okay? So I'm going to extend the bottom of the heart and make two semicircle shapes here. I'm going to draw two lines, one on the left and one on the right for his legs. Now I'm just going to draw the back of the lion, give him some hind legs, but I'm going to put very little detail in and just do shapes like so. Now drawing in two lines on each semicircle foot for his toes. I'm going to do a snake-like shape for his tail, a little bit bigger at the bottom, getting a little bit thinner. That's why I fixed it up at the top. Okay, so a windy, slithery, snake-like shape for the top. Now I've chopped it off a little bit at the top, but you'll see shortly what kind of a shape I did at the top. It was almost like a flame kind of a shape. Now, lightly, although I will be painting over this, I'm just going to show you the shapes that I used to help me to draw the lion's face. So one big rectangle and two little rectangles for ears. One line across for his brow line, okay? Then I'm doing kind of a funny shaped rectangle, bigger at the bottom for his nose. I just rub out in between his eyebrows there. Now all I'm doing here is filling all of that space in with yellow, okay? So water-based paint is perfect. You can add a little bit of water to help you to spread it. So other than the very top of the tail, I'm going to be colouring all of the lion in yellow. One block base colour of yellow. Now I'm just drying what I've painted so far. You can wait an hour or even half an hour. I'm sure it would dry quite quickly. I just did it with a hairdryer to be a little bit quicker. Now I'm just going over some of the things, some of the shapes I had made already earlier. Okay, we'll be rubbing some of these out lightly. It was just to kind of get a map of how I want it. So now what I'm doing here is I'm curving the edges. So the squares were a map. What I'm doing is I'm curving the edges of the ear, okay? And then I'm rubbing out the square shape, okay? Now I'm going to curve down the bottom of the face as well, okay? And curve up the other side. Connect the face to the ears. Draw a line between two ears. Now I'm always just using lines. Now here we had our nose shape. I'm going to start over here. I'm going to go up the mountain, down the valley, up the mountain and down the valley again. Okay, now I'm just going to put in nostrils. Okay, now we'll move on to our eyes swiftly. Okay, so I'm going to do the colour, the white of the eye and the pupil. Now I'm going to give him 2 large teeth because he's a fierce lion, and I'm just going to fix up around the edges. Now, a lion always has a very shaggy mane, a crazy mane, okay, with lots of hair. So what I'm doing here is I'm just drawing in, I suppose, this kind of a shape to make it into a hairy, crazy, shaggy mane. I'm just going to fill in a few spots, okay, of the mane that I wouldn't have got before. Now I'm going to give him dots for my whiskers. I'm going to do 5 on each side. Now, my whiskers I will probably be covering over with paint later on, but I've just drawn them in so I can see how it looks myself. Now, okay, I'm creating the colour, okay, for my mane and for the tip of my tail, okay? So what I've done is I've gotten a good bit of white, added a small bit of brown and a little bit of yellow to warm the brown up, okay? So what I always do is use a little bit of water to help me spread it, okay? I've just clipped the top of the video here, but you'll see it shortly. I am painting the top of my tail, okay? And then I'm moving on to my mane. Now I need quite a bit of paint for this bit because I'm covering over the yellow we did initially. So I'm just going to make up a tad bit more, okay? So now if I'm doing trickier sections, I always pick up a smaller brush. If you have a smaller one, I do the big sections with a big brush and smaller sections with a small brush. It's just a little bit easier to keep within the lines. Now I forgot earlier to draw the inside of my ears, so I just quickly drew 2 square shapes that got a little bit thinner at the end, and I'm colouring those in too. Now, all I'm doing here is putting brown for the nose. I'm painting in the nose, the bottom of the nose brown. I'm painting the 2 teeth in white. It's 2 sharp gnashers. I'm using my small brush for these little areas, and then I'm painting the outside semicircle for the white of the eye. Now I'm quickly just going to give it a layer of the hairdryer so I can use my marker. Now I've just a normal permanent marker which I'm using to colour in his nostrils. I'm then colouring in the pupils of Leo the lion's eyes. Now I'm just outlining his frown lines and just giving the eyes a little bit of definition by going around them with the marker. Now I'm just about to finish off his whiskers. Now what I'm doing here is, oh, and I made a little mistake, I want it a bit lower. I'm doing the background, okay? So in the front of the picture is the foreground, we have the lion, and anything around the back is the background. So I'm just going to do a nice simple blue sky. I'm using my big paintbrush for the big spaces, but I don't go too close to the lion because I'm going to get my smaller paintbrush for going around the lion. Now I've got my smaller paintbrush for just going around. Now I hold, when I'm doing the smaller spots, and I always say this in school as well, when I'm holding my paintbrush to do little areas of paint, you actually hold your paintbrush almost like you hold your pencil. So you have lots of control over it. Now back to a little bit bigger brush just to do the bottom, the grass. Now I usually don't worry about getting paint on the table because I always wash it off straight away after. Now you could get a smaller paintbrush for these little intricate areas if you wanted. I'm just about to get mine now. Now I'm giving my picture a quick drying with my hairdryer, and I'm going to outline all my picture using just a simple black marker. This will just give it a little bit of definition.